Welcome back to Elizabeth Plants. I'm Elizabeth, and today's video is going to start out with a story. So the other day, our cats got into the trash and knocked a bunch of dirt everywhere and just stuff all over the kitchen. So my boyfriend and I were cleaning it up. He was sweeping, and the cats like to try and get into the pile when we're sweeping and just lay in it. So I had gone over, picked the cats up, and was walking around with the cats under my shoulder, under my armpits. And I turned around to get out of my boyfriend's way, and I knocked over a plant. So I didn't knock over just any plant, I knocked over my cactus. So if you've seen my house tour videos, I have one cactus in particular that was wonderful. It was super tall, and now it is this stub. So the pot it was in was terracotta. That pot broke, and I repotted the base into a different terracotta. This happened about a week ago, so it is nice and crusted on top. However, it's really kind of nasty, to be honest. I just emotionally couldn't handle it, so I couldn't. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to slice this top so that it can be a little bit more fresh and less of a damage cut. And then I'm also going to repot the top bit to hopefully root and continue growing. I'm treating this as kind of an experiment. I don't know how long it will take for anything to grow off the top of this or for the other part of it to root. But I'm going to experiment because I was given this opportunity and I don't want to get rid of this cactus. I'm really sad that it's broken. But we're going to make the most of it. I'm not a cactus person. I am not super familiar. However, I have successfully done this before with smaller cacti. So we're going to just hope that it works the same for this cactus, or that my times before weren't just luck. So first thing I'm going to do is slice this guy. I don't have any like super sharp kitchen knives, so I just grabbed a big one, and I'm just going to try my best, and then we will pot up the bottom bit. So right here, you can see, is really the problem area for me. It looks kind of nasty. It's also short, like deeper than the rest, so I want to make sure that I slice that off entirely. And if you are going to attempt something like this at home, I highly, highly recommend that you are an adult, number one, and number two, very, very careful with knives. I did not have the blade back at me at any point in time. There was some resistance. Okay, so I'm looking at the cut, and I can see my problem area was actually starting to rot a little bit. If you can see that top little part of the star, it's a little dark, not quite rotted yet, but it was getting there. Now I want to make sure that it is not doing the same thing from here, and you can see that there are no dark spots. It's not starting to rot. So if you're unfamiliar with cacti, or at least more unfamiliar than I am, the purpose of doing this is so that it can have a clean callus, and I was worried about rot in that one corner. Rightfully so, apparently, and I didn't want the rot to spread, so I sliced it clean so that it can then callus over and hopefully grow more cacti off of it. So that's the goal, is maybe it can grow some pups. So now that I've sliced this, it's already repotted in cacti soil plus pumice. I'm going to put it somewhere that is bright but out of direct light while this callus is over. I'm just going to keep an eye on it. And then when it's nice and calloused over, I will put it in its normal bright environment that does get direct sun. So if I am incorrect about this type of cactus, please let me know in the comments and I'll change. But with my experience with cactus and what I have read and heard, this should do the trick. The next part of this process is more difficult. So I've got my pot. And I'm going to fill it about a little under half with cactus soil mixed with pumice. This was all I was able to get at this point in quarantine. So I mixed some pumice in with some Miracle Grow cactus soil, and that's what I'm going to use. Awesome. Now I am going to show you the rest of the cacti. I don't have any thick gloves or any like actually smart way to transport this cactus, and I was unprepared to have to handle a gigantic sharp cactus. So I am about to make myself look like an idiot, so please forgive me. Alright, so this is the rest of the cactus. I actually have not examined it since it broke off. However, the bottom was not super concerning to me. I don't want to move it around too much and break all of the spikes. It's been sitting in a bright indirect air space, just kind of callousing over for approximately a week. I have been using essentially a nursery pot on the sharp end and my finger on the calloused end if I have had to move it for any reason. I've kept my cats away from it. There does appear to be some like bend marks in the cactus, and I'm not really sure what to do about that. Let's see if I can show you. It's those light colored spots. So it didn't break, and the other side of the cactus looks good. I don't see any particular concern spots, so I'm actually just going to put him in the soil, nice and gently. And again, I'm using this nursery pot to not be pricked to death. And now I'm going to fill soil about 2 inches up from that calloused bottom, just because that's about the space that I have left in the pot to fill. So I tapped the bottom of the pot because there are spikes still underneath the dirt. I don't want to stick my fingers down into the dirt to kind of compact it at all for any reason. And I also do not intend on watering this guy right away, but that's kind of why I shook it to stabilize and let the dirt settle, since I will not be packing it down with my fingers, and I still want it to be stable. This guy is already calloused, so he's going to go straight in to some bright and semi-direct light out of the way of my cats, because I don't want them to traumatize him while he's healing. And like I said, I'm not going to water him. I don't want him to rot at all. So I will be misting the soil, hopefully every day. I'm not gonna lie, it'll probably be like more every couple of days. And that's just kind of how I'm going to hope he will begin to root, is by misting. I don't want the soil to remain wet for very long at all. So that's my unfortunate story of my only favorite cactus. If you have any tips so that this guy can be sure to thrive, please let me know. I'm not a cactus person. I got this from, honestly, if you'd like to hear the story of how I got this cactus from a guy in the bar, let me know in the comments down below and I'd happily tell that story. But I got this cactus for like $20 from some guy at a bar, and I really like this cactus. Not necessarily the guy at the bar, but I really like this cactus. It's the only like large cactus I've been able to find in Michigan at all, within my price range. Usually they're about like $150 or something else ridiculous. So if you have any care tips, please let me know. I'd like this guy to come back and thrive to the best of its ability and my ability. Let's cross our fingers and hope that he roots and that the other side of him is able to grow. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up, and if you want to see more of my content, subscribe and ring the bell so that you can be notified when I post videos. See you next time.